Hello, my name is Mr. Fontenot. Welcome to my YouTube page, Mr. Fontenot 1111. Please like, share, and subscribe. In this video, I'll be reviewing the final exam for the INST 1111 DC Electrical Principles and Applications class. The first resource I want to point out to you is found under your final exams module on your Canvas page, and I have moved the final exam module to the top of the page. And when you click on final exam table of contents with hyperlinks, it will take you to this page here. And basically what this page is a quick resource for all of the material that we've covered this semester. So first is our online homework, which you'll have to refer to Canvas to study that material as you've been doing throughout the semester. The ones that are highlighted in blue here, such as schematic symbols, when you click on it, you'll see that it opens up the schematic symbols page for you. Just in case you've lost any of your handouts, or it is a quicker way to get to this material than going through each one of the modules that contains the links to this material. So for each one of them, if you click on it, it will take you to the handout as titled here. For span math, of course, you'll have to look at your Canvas page, but you can see which ones here are linked. So that is the first resource I want to point out to you. Again, that is found under the final exam module on your Canvas page. All right, what everybody's really wanting to know, how many questions and how many points? Well, the test has a time limit of 85 minutes. That's a standard class period for us this semester. And the test has 55 questions and it's 200 points. But more importantly, it is worth 15% of your course grade. So you definitely want to do well on your final exam. You've got to do well on your final exam to pass the class. I want you to understand, though, if you have a 50% F, you can't make a good grade on the final. The final is not going to be strong enough to pull up your grade to a passing grade if you have a low F as it stands right now. There's just not enough of a percentage of your course grade to pull up a grade that is that low. So don't think that you can have a 50% F or some low F score and do well on your final and pass the course. It's not going to be strong enough to help you like that. I'm sorry, this right here should say 1111, so disregard that. The final exam contains information you should already know, but you still need to review it. Don't be overconfident. Don't think, well, I've done well all semester, I've got it, I don't need to review. Don't do that, because if you're overconfident, there might be some things that you easily would have been able to do well on with a review, but you didn't review and you don't remember how to do it all of a sudden. That's not what you want to have happen to you. The way a lot of this stuff works is you learn it and then you forget it. Then you learn it, and then you forget it again, and then you learn it another time, and then you finally know it. You finally absorb it. But there's a process to absorbing it. So don't be overconfident. Review the material even if you feel like you know it well. All right, this is what I suggest that you do. Determine how many hours you need to study for the final exam. Divide the number of days until the final exam and study that much time per day. So let's say that you determine you need to study 10 hours to be ready for the final, and there's 10 days until the final. Well, that would be 1 hour a day. Now, if you skip day one, well, you're either going to have to review 2 hours on day 2 and an hour the rest of the days, or you'll have to take that hour and divide it by the 9 days and figure it out. But you know what I'm saying. So as a good rule of thumb, figure out how many hours you need to study, divide that number by the number of days, and then you have a a manageable schedule. If you put it off to the last minute, it's going to be overwhelming and you're going to be in trouble. I would review what I knew first, and I would save what I have the most difficulty with until last. Let's talk about our scratch paper and the scratch paper, the advantage the scratch paper can give us. It's almost like using a lever and being able to pick up something heavier than we could pick up with our bare hands, but if we get us a pry bar and we put it under the heavy load, we actually can pick it up with our pry bar. Well, that's what our scratch paper is going to do for us. Don't try to remember everything. Write down on your scratch paper the most important information, and that way you've got it there to refer to on your scratch paper. So, what you need to put on your scratch paper, the first thing I would do as soon as I get my scratch paper, before I even start answering any questions, I would write down my Ohm's Law Formula. I would write down my power formula. Ohm's Law will, power formula will. I would write down my resistor color code. I'd write down my rules for series and my rules for parallel. I'd write down my metric prefixes and electrical quantity information, so all of your kilo, mega, gigatera, milli, micro, nano, pico, I would write that information down. I would write down my sheet here with my electrical quantities, the symbol, abbreviation, and the unit. Put this on your scratch paper, and then it's there. If you get confused on something later on, you don't have to worry about forgetting it because it's already on your scratch paper. Please don't forget your calculator. I will have some loaner calculators, but it doesn't look good if you forget your calculator for the final. Now, if you're halfway to school and you realize you forgot your calculator, don't turn around back and go back home and get it. I'd rather you be on time without your calculator than be late because you went back to get it. Let's all please be on time for the final exam. All right, our online homework from each chapter covered. You'll refer to Canvas to review these chapters. These are the chapters that we covered this semester, and we did online homework for each one of those chapters. Schematic symbols handout. This is not the full handout. There were 32 schematic symbols. Those will be on the final exam. AC/DC troubleshooting questions. Make sure you review those. And again, there is a hyperlink to that table of contents page I showed you in the beginning of this video. Multimeter layout. Hopefully we're all very familiar with the layout of our Amp Probe 30XRA by now, but I want to make sure that you are. Electrical quantities and symbols. This will be on the test. There'll be a matching table for this information. All right, for span math, you will be able to use your formula sheet. You can use the formula sheet for the span math. In order to review your span math, as I said before, you'll need to go back into your assignments. They're still open. Span math homework 1 through 4, they're still open, so you can still do it there. It's still available to you there for review. All right, memorize the resistor color code, just like we did when we had our test on Chapter 3. You will not be able to use the resistor color code. You'll have to memorize it. You won't be able to write it down and use your handout or anything like that. You'll have to have it memorized for the final. Remember, our first band was the first digit, second band, second digit, third band was our multiplier band, and our fourth band was our tolerance band. So you definitely want to go ahead when you're reviewing for your final and calculate the value of several resistors to make sure you're refreshed on that. It's been a while since we did those. All right, Chapter 5 Math. This was our basic Ohm's Law math. Remember, when we give an answer here, we've got to give the numerical value, the metric prefix, and the electrical quantity of value that we are measuring, with the exception of ohms. All right, Chapter 6. Remember that we did our series circuit math calculations, writing out your spreadsheet, doing your calculations. I recommend finding everything and checking your work. Chapter 7, and then finally Chapter 8, which is our combination circuits. All right, so I hope this material here that we went over today helps you. I hope this video helps you to prepare for your final exam, and I will see you. As a reminder, final exam must be taken in person. There's no makeup for the final exam, so I will see all of you the day of the final exam. Thanks.